I always played basketball from like 5 years that my parents played, so I was always around that. I was around professionals. Growing up, I wasn't very tall. Like I was probably 6'1" when I was under 16s. So I was one of the shorter guys, but I always felt like I was pretty good. But then I had a huge growth spurt when I was under 18s. I got to what I am now, and I got accepted to go to the institute in Canberra. And from then on, I knew that this is me. You know, I didn't really go to parties. I didn't hang out, like do that kind of stuff. I was just basketball focused. And yeah, it was worked out good for me. And yeah, I would say probably 16, 17 is when I realised what I wanted to do. I felt like I was good enough, even if I didn't grow, that I could be something. But it definitely, it helped when I did.
Were you playing more of a point guard?
Yeah, I played guard, and that's why I've kind of survived, I think, as a pro, because I learned all those skills early on. Instead of a lot of kids, they grow massive, and all they know is to be under the basket, whereas I was taught that from a younger age. And yeah, basically.
When you started going, was it the Institute of Sport at that age? What was the first few weeks of that like? Were you overwhelmed? Was it just like?
It's pretty hard. Like my first few weeks there were pretty hard because I had like the first time at home. You know, I was the youngest in the team, so and we had some pretty imposing characters on that team. So we were really we had Andrew Bogut, Damien Martin, Alex Marriage. Like now these guys are some of my friend, like good friends. So it was hard to start off with, but you know, you learn the hard way, and you get thick skin. And after 2 months, I loved it and never wanted to leave.
How influential was that period then potentially on you as having those guys?
Oh, massive, because the team was really good, so you kind of had to blend in and accept the way the team was. And our coach was tough, Marty Clark, and he was hard on me at times, but it was only for my benefit. So you know, I was lucky that I could come through with those guys, and that's really helped my career.
I've always seen you. I've only known you as a senior player and as what's the word? Confident, and you know, you're kind of like the leader of the pack. I can't imagine what was it like being. You know, was it tough? Did they tease you? What was it like?
A little bit. Truck used to stir me up a fair bit, Big Al. But yeah, it's part of coming into a senior group. And then I got to do the same thing again when I went to Townsville. I was the youngest on the team, so it's just the cycle of your basketball life, and it's fun now having young fellas in this team. You can kind of stir them up a bit, but you buy them lunch every now and that keeps them happy.
So tell us a little bit about the back end of those first few years in the NBL, and then the decisions and what happened and how the draft of the NBA and then Europe. How did that all kind of come about? Were you like, right, I've done what I can do in the NBL, let's look further afield?
Pretty much, like that pretty much was it. I was fortunate enough, I came into the NBL and I played right away. At 19, I was like not just on the end bench, I actually played. So I knew I had confidence that I could be good enough to play in the league, and I did a good job. And my whole dream was to play for Australia, and I'd achieved that within my first year. So after my 3 NBL years, I had signed with an American agent who presented some opportunities to me and to come over to the States and work out and potentially make the NBA. And I was fortunate enough to get drafted, and that helped my stock go up in Europe because they'd seen me as a younger player, and I took that opportunity and went to Europe for 9 years.